I love monsters. If you were to ask me what kind of movies I like, I'd say anything with monsters in it. Now, my definition of monster is pretty wide. I mean, aliens, cryptids, mythical critters, atomic mutants, intelligent robots, kaiju, all of that. I love it all. If it's got a monster in it, I'll probably at least watch your movie. I mean, The Shape of Water felt like it was made just for me. Same goes for the Bumblebee movie. And Aliens, you know the one where Sigourney Weaver fights an alien queen in her underwear? You know the one? That's my idea of a perfect night at the cinema. Now, it wasn't always this way. When I was 7, my parents took me to see Star Wars at the local theater. I mean the first one. I think they call it A New Hope now, but that was back when there was only one and we just called it Star Wars. It was the second film I'd seen on the big screen. The first one was Bambi. And I've always figured this is why I turned out as warped as I am. But anyway, I loved the movie. Except for one part. The cantina sequence. I had nightmares about the Deveronian. For non-Star Wars people, that's the guy with the goat horns and the big creepy grin you see for a split second on the screen. Well, that guy haunted my nightmares for weeks. I especially was concerned about him hiding out in my closet, because as you know, intergalactic criminal aliens have nothing better to do with their lives than to haunt one Canadian kid living in the boonies. Finally, I just couldn't take this anymore, and I had to figure out a way to mentally deal with the monster aliens out there. So I thought it'd be really neat if I was to choose a champion, someone I could imagine defending me against these alien hordes. So I picked, of course, Chewbacca. I mean, he was everything I needed in a hero. Luke was good and all, and he had the Force and the laser sword thingy, and he was fine, but he had other things to deal with. Chewie, he looked like a guy you could call on to help move a couch. Or in my case, defend me from weird goat-horned alien bald guy. Now, eventually the nightmares faded, but Chewie kind of stuck around. And after a while, I kind of realized that Greedo looked pretty cool, and then I adopted more of them into the club, and, well, you can kind of figure out the rest from there. While this was all going on, our local TV station started playing old black and white monster movies on Sunday afternoons. I didn't really find them scary, but they were kind of fascinating. That's where I learned about things like vampires and werewolves and mummies that needed the juice of 9 leaves or whatever it was to rise up and do cool stuff. The monsters were scary, but they were also really kind of amazing. Now, as I grew up and got older, I learned more about monster makeup and special effects, and along the way, I learned about so many other monsters. And every culture all over the world has its own batch of monsters. Everything from monsters out in the woods to ghosts that inhabit your house. And the more I found out about them, the more I learned to love them. Even the really scary ones. Okay, especially the really scary ones. Now cue the invention of the home internet connection. I did not see the internet coming, and when I did finally get a hold of a connection, it was suddenly a gateway to amazing artwork from even more monster creators. There were original monsters and local cryptids, the ones who want to see you, critters invented by forums just for fun. There were UFO reports of weird beings who would stumble out of nowhere to frighten the bananas off some poor random guy who, for who knows what nefarious purpose. It was a literal monster palooza, and everyone was invited, and I had a front row seat to it. Now, I still love monsters, and giant robots, and ghost stories, and creepypasta, and I consider myself incredibly lucky to live in a time where I have access to all of this and can enjoy it all. And that brings us to the painting you see me working on here. Skull-faced werewolf-type things are not my original creation, not by a long shot. And if you do a search for them on the interwebs, I'm sure you'll find lots of examples. And if you dig around, you'll pretty much see that most people think they're a 20th century creation, but I have a feeling that somewhere lost in history is a similar critter. Take, for example, and forgive me for my pronunciation, the MacLeod, a supposedly ancient Welsh traditional Christmas monster. Yes, I said Christmas monster. My ancestors, folks. Gotta love them. But it basically looks the same kind of concept here. It combines all the horror of a malevolent monster with a hefty dose of the existential dread you want in the holidays. And given that I painted this particular painting in October, I kind of wanted this one to have a more holiday Halloween feel. So it's got lots of oranges and yellows, with a little hint of cold blue here and there. And of course I gave him a glowy eye, mostly so the moon didn't stand out so much. Now if you like, please tell me your favorite monster down below in the comments. I just really love learning about new and exciting monsters, and I can hardly wait to add more of them to my collection of the weird. And here we are. Thank you very much again for watching. And once again, I do not monetize my videos, so if you're seeing advertisements on here, that's YouTube's doing, not mine. Having said that, if you'd like to help support the channel and myself, I have left a PayPal link down the bottom. Anyway, thank you very much again. You take care.